So let's delve a little deeper into what these Lambda things are. Okay, so first I'm going to just check out what this actually is. I'm going to do a little refactoring here. This is to extract a local variable, and that will show me its type. Okay, so I'll just go with the name that Java or that Eclipse is suggesting there. What it's done is it's added this line, and this line is actually the Lambda expression. Now, it's this crazy looking thing which you haven't seen before. It's a predicate. I'm going to pull the other one out just to show you. Also, the way you should be doing these refactorings is automatically, not using the right click like I did. So when I do Alt, Windows, and L, that's going to extract a local variable for me like that. And then if I want to put it back in, I would inline it with the I. Okay, so anyway, so you can see what these crazy things are. These Lambda expressions can be stored in variables. Okay, so this is pretty new and crazy to Java people, but it's not a completely new idea. So other languages have had this for ages, like for example JavaScript. I'm just on this website that lets me write and compile JavaScript called JSFiddle, and here I have a function. This is a super legit definition of a function in JavaScript. It doesn't have a return type, doesn't need a return type like Java does, so this compiles. That's all you need to know. What I'm going to do is try and get this click me button to work, and I'm going to do it in a specific way. So you can do this. This is how you declare a variable in JavaScript. You say var, and then you give it a name. That part's the same as Java. And then I can actually set it equal to this function. What? You guys getting how crazy that is? So I've basically got this variable called sup, and now I'm putting a function in it. Up here on the onClick, I'm going to call sup with parentheses, and then that's going to call that method when I run this code. Yeehaw. Okay, so I'm going to go through how you would actually convert from a regular function in Java to a Lambda. And this is what a Lambda is. So this is this could actually be a function too, but this is just kind of what I did in JavaScript. So I'm setting actual functionality to a variable. I'm going to go through in more depth what all of that means, but for now I want you to focus on the syntax of the Lambda itself. So this should be a new thing. This is the Lambda operator, and I'm going to show you how to convert from a method to a Lambda. Sometimes I find that's probably going to be the easiest way for you to do the next exercise. Alright, so here I have a pretty, dorky method. It's a square, so it's going to multiply that by itself, and so by 8 we get 64. Alright, and then I'm going to do a version of it that's a Lambda version, and then I'm going to try and write down some steps for you. So the first thing we want to do is we want to make a variable. Alright, and this one's going to be a function. This is a new thing too, but so how a function works is it's going to expect as a parameter, integer, that first type there, and then this is the return type. Lambda square. Okay, so this is a variable that can hold a piece of functionality, a lambda. And what this means is it's a type of an object, function is, and you are going to expect to pass in an integer and to take out an integer. See this method, we're passing in one integer, we're getting back one integer. That's where the connection is there. Alright, so we made our variable. The next thing we're going to do is, well, I'm going to copy this because I don't want to break the existing one, and I guess I better just comment it out so it stops going red because of the name being duplicative. Okay, so I did the first step. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the access modifier. What is an access modifier? This is an access modifier. That's public. That's public modifier. If I had private, that would be a modifier. This one has a default modifier that you can't see. Okay, so I removed the modifier. Why? Because we're actually not going to be using a class. The way Java and pure object-oriented languages work is you need an object for everything. This is going around that. So we are actually not going to use an object. We're going to go directly to the function itself. And that's the part that's new. Because of that, it doesn't really make sense to have an access modifier here. So I'm going to remove that. Next, I'm going to remove the method name. The method name here doesn't make sense because the method name is actually here. It's going to be called lambda square. So I'm not going to need that piece. Okay, next, get rid of that red for a second. Next, I'm going to remove this return type. Okay, this is a little trickier. So because my function here knows that I'm going to be returning an integer, I don't actually need the return type. That's going to be inferred by the compiler. It's getting all clever on us now. Okay, so I removed the return type. Okay, and then finally I'm going to add the lambda operator. So I do a dash and I do an arrow, and then I'm going to set this to an actual expression, so I need a semicolon there. Okay, there's one more thing that I need to do. First I better write down the lambda operator. I'm writing this list for you guys so that you can help you with the next exercise. Okay, so the other thing that is going on here is void methods cannot return a value. Okay, so I need to take out this return type also because it is also specified here. Oops, I'm really dumb. What did I do that for? Okay, so where I wanted to put the actual lambda operator was here. So we're still doing this. This arrow thing should be familiar from when you did your word sorter. That's how you do a lambda. So it means that this is the parameter. So for the boy parameter, then I'm going to do something with that parameter. Okay, so in this case it's x. I don't need the return type because the parameter type, because I already know here it's going to be an integer. So I can get rid of that. All right, this is starting to look pretty cool. Did I say add the lambda operator in the right place? Not like the way I did it. Okay, so basically this is a lambda. Now you usually see them written on one line because that's kind of taking up a lot of my vertical space. So I'm going to put it on a line like that. And then I'm also going to remove some extra stuff, but this is optional because now I have a super legit lambda that I just created with just those steps. But there's more. If there's only one parameter, you can remove the parentheses. Okay, so I can remove that. And if there's the lambda is only one line of code, you can remove the return. Okay. And these guys are also not necessary. Whoa. Okay, so that's a lambda. All right, so what I did there was I converted from this method into a lambda. This says the same as that. I'm going to prove it. I wouldn't trust me either. So I'm going to run it. We got 64 before. And then I'm going to call my lambda this time, which is lambda square. And lambda square. Okay, so we've got to do that, and then I got to do apply, which is how lambdas work. That will make sense later, but let's see if we get another 64. Okay, so this verifies that this code is the same as that code. One more part, because because lambdas don't have an object, they don't depend on an instance, so that means that they can be static. Static things are nice because sometimes you don't have to do all this, you don't have to do that new la da da da. You can just call it statically. Okay, so to do with our exercise, that is called practice writing lambdas. There seems to be a lot of code here. I'll explain what each part is. So the lambdas that you're going to be writing will be like the one that I just did. I'm going to copy it in here just so you can see how it's the same kind of pattern. So what you're going to be doing is filling in, setting these equal to a lambda expression. And to figure out what the lambda expression should be, you should look at the test. So if I run this, I'm going to get a whole lot of red because I haven't actually filled in my lambdas yet. And each of these tests is connected to one of these lambdas. So for increment lambda, you're going to have to put in the lambda that will increment, and then this test will test that. So it's checking for an array whether each element of the array gets incremented. So when you have your lambda done correctly, then this test will pass, etc. If you want to, sometimes what I do to get a green bar, because green bars are nice and make you feel good, is comment out all but the test that you're working on, and then it's a little clearer. Alright, so good luck with your first lambdas. See you later.